Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Andriza, and today I'm going to talk about the King of Sin series by Anna Huang. I got her books from 99 Bookstore. If you have not seen my Twisted series review, I will link it down below. You can have a look. I would also like to show you the bookmarks that they sent me. I bought all the books together, but I would still like to reiterate how amazing these bookmarks are. First one is this one. Second is this. Third is this Captain America shield, and this one and this one. These are all really pretty, and they also send me a thank you card with a coupon code of 10% off the next time I want to buy something from them. I'm going to link them down below. It's an amazing app ranging from manga to self-help books. They have all kind of books, especially they have series and book sets that you can buy that I'm not seeing anywhere at a really good cheap rate, with the quality being really good. Now coming to Anna Huang, I gave a chance to her Twisted series, which intrigued me enough to pick her King of Sin series, which is not a complete one, mind you. There are only 4 books which are out, and the 5th one is supposed to be out either this year sometime or next year, beginning of next year. Whenever it does come out, I will be one of those first people who will buy it, and I will read it, and I will leave a review for you guys to check it out. Now coming to the first book is King of Wrath. Now here we follow Dante Russo and Vivian Lau. Now Dante Russo is one of those characters who's introduced in the Twisted series, in the last book of the Twisted series, Twisted Lies. He is the heir, or he is the CEO of Russo conglomerate, which oversees all the luxury brands out there, and he is a workaholic. He has no wish to marry or settle down or have a love life or a relationship for that matter. His work is everything to him. He's ambitious, he's ruthless, and there are rumors out there that there was this one person who tried to rob him and he was now in a coma. So there's something is really scary. And then on the other hand, we have Vivian Lau, who also comes from a rich family. But as we can see in the book, that Dante Russo comes from generational wealth. He is a blue collar, he's blue blood. Vivian Lau, not so much. She has money, but her parents started off from a very humble background. They had a small jewelry store, which now has become this extremely huge empire, but she wants nothing to do with them. She is her own person in her own right. She is a luxury event manager. Her company is doing really well, but Vivian's father uh, blackmails Dante, to be very honest, in marrying her daughter. This is an arranged marriage trope where whatever you think will go wrong goes wrong. There's this one point in the book where the climax or the misunderstanding thing happens, and the misunderstanding is so basic that I was underwhelmed. I really liked these characters. I loved these characters, but the climax and the misunderstanding trope is so basic that I was screaming in my mind, of course, because that's what adults do. I wanted, I desired a little more, to be very honest. But the way Dante groveled, the way things patched up, it was beautifully done. And it doesn't matter initially what we see of the family dynamics of Vivian. As you read through the books and the ups and downs that Vivian has to go through, her family dynamic or the family dynamic of Dante, you see how broken these people are despite having money, and how they are trying to heal themselves little by little. I really like this book. I highly recommend this book. I've seen a lot of people out there talking about how King of Sin series is not up to the mark with Twisted series, but I will still say give it a shot. Then we have King of Pride. Beautiful book. As you can see, it's just so pretty, and I had very high expectations from this book. We follow Kai Young, who is the CEO of a media conglomerate. We meet him first in King of Wrath, and he is the definition of nerd in the streets, freak in the sheets, and he is the kind of character or person I gravitate to. And we have Isabella. I do not remember her surname. She is she is working as a bartender at the club Valhalla that we see in the Twisted series. Now, all of these people are members of the King Club Valhalla. Okay, it's a very exclusive club. Not everybody gets into it, and Isabella is a bartender there. They have this forbidden romance, and Isabella is fired. She's trying to make meets end, but she's also a budding author. The only time I found Isabella relatable was her strange obsession with dino erotica. I get it. I really do. That's one of the major reasons I read too. Um, she's a nice character. She's a well written character. She is a nice character with self doubts. She comes from a very, very um, conservative family where where everyone is doing well, all her siblings are doing well, she's not doing all that well, and she has these doubts whether I will be able to do well at the end of the day and everything else that comes along with it. So I get it, but at the end of the day, something was just missing in the book. I wanted to really like this book because of Kai, and he's amazing. He translates Hemingway to Latin for fun. God knows I would love someone like that. But this book just fell flat for me. I I really, really, really liked the premise of the book. I liked how this was an opposite attracts book with Isabella being all over the place and Kai being this nice British nerd who has everything together and wears specs and boxes for fun. He's a dream come true, really, but something just fell flat for me. So I give this a 3 star because, well, Kai. Next, we have King of Greed. I didn't realize how much I'd like this book until I read this book. This was everything I thought I didn't need, and I got it. We follow Dominic Davenport, who is the king of Wall Street. He has very, 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 very humble beginnings. He comes from a foster family. He's dyslexic. He falls in love with his tutor, Alessandra, whom he marries. Alessandra is the daughter of a supermodel who did not want to follow her mother's footsteps and is her own woman in her own right. And at the end of the day, we see that they married really young, and he has his own battles to fight. He's a workaholic who is trying his best to manage his personal life and his work life, and is doing a terrible job at it. And he does not realize what he's lost until he's slapped on with a divorce paper. I do not enjoy second chance romances at all. I don't believe in second chances in real life, and I am not one of those people who enjoys second chance romances. But this time I did, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed and adored these characters. But yes, there's always a but coming. The climax fell a little flat. The climax fell not a little flat, it's a lot flat. I love the characters. I love Dominic. He was a nerd who was dyslexic. Makes sense for me to like him. We have Alessandra, who was a tutor at college, and then she starts her own company. Amazing. Just amazing. But the climax is a little flat for me. It fell a little flat for me. I want a little more groveling after the climax, because whatever happened in the climax, it just wasn't worth my time. So after reading through some 200 odd pages, if you reach a climax that does not live up to your expectations, you are supposed to be underwhelmed in the worst case possible. I still gave it a 4 star because of the way it was written. It was very well written. I gave it a 4 star because of that. Also because the climax made sense. It just wasn't for me. Last but not the least, the book that is out is King of Sloth, a book I never wanted to read, to be very honest. I ordered the book, but then I was like, you know what? I just don't want to read this. Because the male character Xavier, Javier Castillo, to be very honest, if we are pronouncing it properly, is not a character I gravitate towards. He is a playboy who loves parties. Like, you are in your late 20s. You should be doing all of that in your early 20s. So I get it. I have done a lot of stuff that he has done. Uh, well, not to his degree, I'm not a billionaire, but I get it. Uh, but the way he was acting like a man child through the first books just did not make a promising premise for me to read it. So I picked this up book once and I kept it. I didn't want to read it and I just dropped the book. A couple of days ago, what happened was I was just sitting and doing absolutely nothing. I had finished my corrections. I had no tutors to teach. I was at home. The next day, I think, was a holiday for my school, and I decided, you know what, just let me pick this up and let's see, because it's taking up space. And I loved it. I fell in love with it, and I didn't realize how much I liked it. So yeah, so here in this book we follow Javier Castillo, uh, playboy, everything that comes along with it, parties. He is um, he's the son of uh, a huge billionaire who um, like they have Castillo beers all over the world in this fictional um, world. And we have Sloan Kensington. I can never pronounce her name properly. Now, she is also a billionaire in her own right. The difference being that Sloan is cut off from her family. She has made her boutique PR firm from the ground up. She has her own battles, and she is one of the most relatable characters out of all the characters that I've read of Anna Huang. I loved her. After, I think Jules and Sloane are my favorite characters. She guards herself and her privacy and her heart so well that she also makes the mistake of slipping through some stuff. She's so well written, and her insecurities and her relationship dynamic with her family and her half sister, it's so well written. And her relationship with Javier, who is her client, by the way, because she's the CEO of a, well, PR, like boutique PR firm, and Javier is her client because Javier really needs to clean up his persona when it comes to the entire world, otherwise he will not get his inheritance. So she's a very well written character. Even Javier is a very well written character. In comparison, Sloane is a little better, I would say. She's a little her characters are little better written. Javier has his own battles to fight. His father is dying. His father has told him that if you do not clean up your act and actually do something with your life, you're not going to get your inheritance, which is like $8 billion. That's a lot to lose out on. The only thing I was a little sad about is that if you read the other four books in the series, and if you read this book, the other four books, the characters had to work their way up. Dante had to work his way up. Kai had to work his way up in his media conglomerate from the mail room. Dominic obviously had to, because he came from nothing really. He came from a foster house. He was dyslexic and he started Davenport Capital with nothing really. Javier, on the other hand, had those things. He had the backup. He had the contacts, and it was easier for him in comparison. But there were situations where it was not easy for him. He gave up. So those were very relatable points in the book where he gave up and he didn't want to do again because of his fear of failure. We all have those points in our life. So this book became very relatable. Till now, this is my favorite book in the series. Then comes King of Greed, then is King of Wrath, and then comes King of Pride. In the last book, throughout the books actually, we see a character called Vuk Markovichik. I think that's how he pronounces his name. I'm not sure yet. He is a Serb who does not speak, and he is a member of the Club Valhalla. And his book comes out sometime either this year or sometime next year. It's called King of Envy, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. and I hope I enjoy his book, because his book sets the premise of a beauty and a beast kind of a thing, and I'm looking really forward to read it. All in all, I enjoyed Kings of Sins a little more than I enjoyed Twisted series. Maybe that's me, because all over the internet, all over Goodreads, I'm seeing that people are enjoying Twisted series a little more than Kings of Sin series, and I get it, but I really liked these books a little more than I liked them. I would still highly recommend you to pick these books up and have a go. I did not want to, but I'm glad I did. And I want to keep reading her books. I think she has another series which is out. Maybe I'll buy them and I'll read them too, and I'll let you know how I felt about them. Okay? Thank you so much for staying with me. I'll link everything down below in case you guys want to check them out. Okay? Bye. See you next time.